14,000 years ago, a woman died in a cave in southern China. Her skull looked like something from 1,000,000 years earlier. Her thigh bone matched a species that went extinct before humans existed. In 2022, scientists extracted her DNA. She was human, modern human. The mystery should have been solved, except it was not. In 2025, Harvard looked at the same DNA. They said the data might be contaminated. The question was not settled. The Red Deer Cave people, the most recent mysterious humans ever discovered, remain unsolved. The Forgotten Humans. Episode 7. The 11,000-year-old humans science cannot explain. Every video about the Red Deer Cave people tells you the same things. Mysterious bones in China, archaic features. They survived until recently, and then the video ends. This is not that video. This is about what happened after the bones were found. The DNA that was supposed to solve everything and did not. The Harvard team that said the answer was wrong. And the single thigh bone that matches a species that died 1.5 million years before these people lived. 18 facts we will cover in this video. They are all on the board behind me. 9 of them you will not find in any other video about the Red Deer Cave people. But first, a quick question. In 2022, scientists extracted DNA from the Red Deer Cave skull. What did they find? Answer revealed later in this video. Keep watching. 1979, a geologist named Bao Jinde was working near Longlin village in Guangxi province, southern China. He found a block of sediment so hard the bones inside could not be removed. The block went into storage for 30 years. 1989, Bao excavated a second site, Maludong, Red Deer Cave, in Yunnan Province, 300 kilometers southwest. 3 more individuals, stone tools, deer antler awls, charcoal from ancient fires. The material was briefly published in Chinese journals. Then it sat for almost 20 years. Almost no one outside China knew it existed. 2008. Ji Shuping of the Yunnan Institute and Darren Curnow of the University of New South Wales began reinvestigating the Maludong material. They radiocarbon dated charcoal from the cave. The result was impossible. 14,300 to 13,500 years before present, the very end of the Ice Age. Thousands of years after every other archaic human population on Earth was believed to have gone extinct. Neanderthals, gone. Denisovans, gone. Hobbits, gone. Homo erectus, gone for nearly 100,000 years. And yet, here were bones in China that did not look modern. The question was immediate and urgent. Who were these people? 2012, Curnow, G, and 16 co-authors published a long technical paper in PLOS One. The Maludong skull cap was a mosaic. The vault was high and rounded, modern. But the frontal bone was unusually thick and the brow ridges were robust, archaic. The forehead sloped backward, archaic. The face was flat, modern. The bones refused to fit into any single category. The teeth told the same conflicted story. Several molars displayed taurodontism, a feature where the tooth roots are fused in a way typical of Neanderthals and early hominins. Modern humans almost never have it. The Red Deer Cave people did. Their teeth said archaic. Their skull shape said modern. The conflict was built into their very bones. Their skull bones were unusually thick, thicker than any modern population. This can happen when small groups become isolated for thousands of years. They develop robust features without being a different species. The cow swamp fossils in Australia show the same pattern. Robust modern humans. Brain size, approximately 1,300 cubic centimeters. That is within the modern human range. But the shape of the brain case was archaic, longer and lower than ours. Modern volume in an ancient casing. Then came 2015, the femur paper. The thigh bone from Maludong was narrow, but the walls were buttressed in a pattern more typical of Homo habilis. The neck was elongated. The reconstructed body mass was approximately 50 kilograms, extremely small for any Pleistocene human. The The authors wrote that this was, and I quote, the youngest fossil with archaic morphology yet found anywhere in the world. Homo habilis lived in Africa, handyman, the first toolmaker, gone long before modern humans evolved, 1.5 million years ago. And yet, a femur in China matched its proportions, 14,000 years ago, on the wrong continent, at the wrong time, the wrong species. The authors offered two interpretations. One, the remains represented the late survival of an unknown archaic species. Two, they were hybrids of modern humans and an unidentified archaic group. Either interpretation was radical. The research community responded with intense interest and serious skepticism. Without ancient DNA, the question could not be answered. And ancient DNA from southern China, hot, humid, acidic cave soil, was almost impossible to extract. Quiz: what did the Maludong femur match? Was it A, Neanderthal, B, Homo erectus, C, Homo habilis, or D, Denisovan? Answer revealed later in this video. The bones were a mystery, the dates were shocking. The question was simple: who were these people? But the tool needed to answer it was out of reach. July 2022. A team led by Xiaoming Zhang at the Kunming Institute of Zoology published in Current Biology. They had done what many thought impossible: ancient DNA from Maludong, from just 30 to 50 milligrams of bone powder, from the skull cap of a woman who died 14,000 years ago. They named her Mengzi Ren, MZR for short. From her skull cap, they extracted her genome. The headline finding: MZR was an anatomically modern human. She belonged to maternal mitochondrial haplogroup M9, a lineage estimated to have arisen between 47,000 and 50,000 years ago. No archaic ghost lineage was detected in her genome. The mystery appeared solved. International headlines declared it. Textbooks were rewritten. The Red Deer Cave people were modern humans whose unusual features had been overinterpreted. But the paper contained something far more remarkable that nobody focused on. MZR shared a significant portion of her ancestry with the founding population of Native Americans, the group that crossed into Beringia approximately 20,000 years ago. The woman in the Chinese cave was genetically connected to the first people of the Americas. She was part of the deepest story of human migration. Here is what almost nobody mentions. The Longlin 1 genome, published in Cell in June 2021, was also modern human, but it was genetically distinct from MZR. Two individuals, two caves, 300 kilometers apart, same time period, different populations. They did not belong to the same group. The Red Deer Cave. Mystery was not one question. It was at least two. Two different populations of modern humans, both with archaic-looking features, both unexplained. How many more were there? For a brief moment, the story seemed settled. Then Harvard reopened it. Quiz: MZR's maternal lineage, haplogroup M9, arose how long ago? Was it A, 10,000 years, B, 47,000 to 50,000 years, C, 200,000 years, or D, 2 million years? Answer revealed later. March 2025. Current Biology. Two researchers at Harvard Medical School, Daniel Tabin and David Reich, head of the largest ancient DNA laboratory in the world, published a critique. It was devastating. The Harvard team found that error rates in the published MZR data were many times higher than those typical of well-preserved ancient genomes. The pattern of errors was abnormal. They did not follow the characteristic damage signature of authentic ancient DNA. Standard contamination estimation tools showed only 55 to 66% of mitochondrial reads match the consensus sequence, far below what the original paper claimed. The Harvard team concluded the published MZR sequences appeared to contain substantial contamination by modern human DNA. They could not reproduce the population genetics finding that had generated the most attention. that MZR was equally related to ancient Northeast Asians and to the source population of the first Americans. When Harvard analyzed the same data using independent methods, the special connection to Native American ancestry largely disappeared. If Taubin and Reich were correct, the headline conclusion of the 2022 paper could not be reliably drawn from the published data. After 3 years of textbooks being rewritten, after international headlines declaring the mystery was solved, the question was not closed. It was barely open. If the DNA is contaminated, the archaic survival hypothesis returns. If the dates are wrong, the bones could be much older. If the two individuals were different populations, there may have been many more. The Red Deer Cave people are not one mystery, they are several. And then there is the dating. In February 2021, a separate team published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. They applied uranium-thorium dating to deer bones and cave flowstones at Maludong. Their results suggested some deer bones from the human-bearing layers were in fact Middle Pleistocene in age, far older than the radiocarbon dates on charcoal had suggested. The authors concluded that the Maludong cave deposit had been disturbed at some point in its history, mixing fossils of very different ages within the same apparent layer. They recommended the geological age of the human remains be regarded as uncertain until directly dated. Direct dating has not been done. The bones that launched a decade of scientific controversy have never been individually dated. We do not know how old they are. Quiz. What dating method questioned the charcoal dates at Maludong? Was it A, radiocarbon, B, potassium argon, C, uranium thorium, or D, thermoluminescence? Answer revealed later. After all of this, the contradictory bones, the contested DNA, the uncertain dates, the Harvard critique, what do we actually know about the Red Deer Cave people? They existed. There are real bones in real caves in Yunnan and Guangxi. They were human. Of that, there is no doubt. They used fire. They made tools from stone and antler. They ate red deer. They lived at the end of the Ice Age when the world was transforming. And then, 13,500 years ago, the fires in Red Deer Cave went out. The last red deer was butchered against its walls. The last person, one of the last of their kind, died, and we still do not know who they were, not for certain. The bones say archaic. The DNA says modern, maybe. Harvard says the DNA might be contaminated. The dating says the site might be mixed. Multiple populations, multiple possibilities. No single answer. Scoreboard, Red Deer Cave people, identity unknown. Age uncertain, DNA contested, species open question, tools present, art none found, mystery unsolved. The score is not a conclusion, it is an invitation. Museum of Extinct Humans, Neanderthals identified, Denisovans identified through code, hobbits identified, red deer, cave people, an empty pedestal with the label investigation in progress. Some exhibits stay empty not because there is nothing to show, but because the investigation is still unfolding. Quiz 1. The Maludong Femur matched Homo habilis, the species that died 1.5 million years ago. Answer C. Quiz 2. Haplogroup M9 arose between 47,000 and 50,000 years ago. Answer B. Quiz 3. Uranium-thorium dating questioned the charcoal dates at Maludong. Answer C. How did you score? Tell us in the comments. The Forgotten Humans teaches us this. Some mysteries do not get solved by better technology. The Red Deer Cave people had their DNA sequenced, and the question got harder, not easier. Science is not a straight line from ignorance to knowledge. Sometimes you end up back at the question you started with, but asked more sharply. 2. The last people who looked different from us, archaic in their bones, robust in their features, may have lived at the very edge of history. The Ice Age was ending. Agriculture was beginning. The world was transforming. And somewhere in southern China, a different kind of human was taking their last breath. The line between them and us is thinner than the textbooks say. 3. There are more caves in southern China, more museum drawers with unstudied bones, more limestone blocks with skeletons still encased in rock, like the one Bao Jinde found in 1979. The next Red Deer cave is waiting. The next question will be asked by someone watching this video right now. Who were the Red Deer cave people? Modern humans who looked archaic? An unknown species that survived in isolation until the dawn of civilization? Something in between? We have their bones. We have their DNA, maybe. We have their tools, their fires, their deer bones, their questions. What we do not have is an answer, and maybe that is the point. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved, they are meant to be pursued. Subscribe for episode 8, Neanderthal art and culture, the jewelry, the cave paintings, the flower burials that prove they were not brutes. This is The Old Human.